Welcome to the American Med Spa Association podcast, Medical Spa Insider. This week, AmSpa founder Alex Thiersch is speaking with Amy Lynn, CAN's founder and medical director, Glo Derma and Glo Academy.
Hey everybody, this is Alex Thiersch, and I want to thank Nextech for their support of this podcast. Why settle for just keeping up when your business can be the trailblazer? Aesthetically Speaking, presented by Nextech, is the podcast where beauty meets business, keeping you ahead in this ever-changing world of aesthetic practices. Each episode, proven experts from various areas of the field provide tips and tricks that will take your practice to the next level. Pair the podcast with Nextech MedSpa, their sleek, modern software solution built to scale alongside every phase of growth for the lifetime of your business. You can book appointments faster, easily collect payments, and drive revenue through the roof. With an end-to-end personalized platform built specifically for your needs, your team won't have to fit into a one-size-fits-all software anymore. Follow and subscribe to Aesthetically Speaking on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you like to listen to podcasts, and visit nextech.com to book your demo now. All right, everybody, welcome again back to Medical Spa Insider. This is Alex Thiersch, and I am here on the Medical Spa AmSpa hotline with Amy Lynn, who is the founder and visionary behind Glo Derma and Glo Academy, which is in Yardley, Pennsylvania, which I just learned is just outside of Philadelphia, and is an amazing little town that is close to New York too, which I'm learning so much about the geography. But Amy, you are a gain trainer, among other things. You've been in the industry for, I want to say, 10 plus years. You've got an amazing background. I think I read you were at one point an emergency room nurse, and you've made your way into aesthetics. A lot of folks, for whatever reason, come from emergency rooms into aesthetics. We've seen a lot of folks, whether it's physicians, NPs, or RNs, come that way. You also have developed something called the art of reversal, which we're going to get into, which involves some really cool things and some products that we're going to be talking about. And you're going to be at the Women's and Aesthetic Leadership Conference next weekend. God, it's going to be next weekend. 2 weekends from now? 2 weeks from now. At Terranea in California, which is going to be amazing. Thank you so much, number one, for joining us. Thank you for coming. How are things? How are you doing? How are your 5 kids? I mean, I've learned so much about you in the last 7 minutes.
Well, thank you so much for having me as a guest on the podcast. I'm so excited about next weekend. I've never been to that area of California. California is it's probably my favorite state. I love California so much. And I heard such amazing things about the resort. I can't wait to see my friends and colleagues, finally meet you in person. I cannot believe our paths have not crossed. And everything, I mean, they've crossed, but they haven't actually crossed to meet in person other than right now. So it's a true honor. I'm really, really grateful. But things are amazing, actually. Things are so good. We've been doing lots of great new innovations. The kids are great, of course, and that's the number one. And if the kids are okay, then everything else can flow. Yeah,
that's so. Tell me a little bit about, I mean, I know you've obviously got a fairly big name, an amazing brand that you've created. Your clinic looks amazing. I was looking at the website. It looks really, really cool. Tell me a little bit about just what led to kind of the vision and the brand that you've built. What's kind of the mainstay behind how you built it? Is there one kind of guiding purpose that you always kind of look to? This is why I'm doing this. This is what is really focused behind my brand, and this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Of course, I really wanted to build something that was authentic to myself and also to every single person that entered these doors, whether it's patients, whether it's my team, and really build a lifestyle that is approachable, yet luxury, but there was something for everybody, that people felt safe in, a safe place. And I'll tell you, I worked in ER trauma, crazy inner city for over 11 years. If you would have told me 12 years ago I'd be doing this right now, I would say, okay, that sounds awesome.
Crazy?
But
yeah,
it wasn't even on the radar. It wasn't like when I was a little girl, I'm like, I want to open up a med spa called Glo Derma, and this is what it's going to look like. It was so authentic, and it was so natural the way it happened. Actually, the reason why I even got interested in wanting to get trained in injectables was because I had Botox done for the first time in really a low place in my life, my personal life. And when I had that experience, and a nurse is the one that administered that to me first, it wasn't only the aesthetics that I liked the whole experience and how I felt. So that whole look and feel your best concept is something that I truly believe in. I think it is connected that, if you feel better, you're going to look better. That energy you're going to put out in the world is going to be stronger and more positive, and vice versa. So it just got me interested. And there were not nearly any of the resources back then. We're going back 11 years now that we have now, right? I mean, my God, there's so many conferences, there's mentors now, there's so many training platforms and opportunities that I just had to more or less figure it out. And so I took my first course. I borrowed $1,500 from my parents at the time, and my kids were all babies. I had nothing, right? And again, personally, it was kind of falling apart. But in the same thing, I took that chance and I overextended myself and went and asked for 8 units of Botox because I knew nothing. And she looked at me and laughed and said, "Just save your money, do more." I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'll splurge a little bit more." But that just really kind of piloted me into a whole different career, trajectory, more or less. Awesome. And it was great. I started off as concierge, and then from there I went and I got a position soon after at a local med spa. I was there for about 18 months. I grew their business about 190% within 6 months. And it was me hustling. So I was more or less running my own business within another business. So 2 years after that course that I took, I opened up Glo Derma, and it was literally 2 years almost to the exact day. And I didn't take out any loans or anything. It was purely built on grit and hustle and taking chances. And I was never scared because I felt like, oh, well, if I fail, it's on me. So I was just so driven by that experience and making others also bring out their inner glow. And hence why Glo Derma was born. And we're almost going to be celebrating 9 years in October.
That's incredible. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's a long time. I mean, especially in this industry, that is not something to be overlooked. 9 years, you don't find too many. You're starting to see it more and more as the industry grows, and gets older, but there's still not that many that have been around for 9 years. That's pretty cool. Can you imagine looking back? I mean, this is where you are, 9 years. You've been, and you said inner glow. Like what do you mean by that? Is that something that you kind of latch onto and talk about often at your med spa?
Well, yeah, I think the big thing is that you never know what someone is going through. I'm sure the nurse that injected me first didn't know what was going on in my personal life. But she was able to just be present with me. And I think from that spark, that whole inner glow. And that's actually why, coming up with a brand, right, and thinking about it big and long term, you have to think about the name, right? It's like naming a baby. It's like that carries through with you. You don't want to necessarily have to change it. Like I have 15 times with my name, like we said earlier. Dropping the last name, bringing back the old name, and just kind of going with Amy Lynn now.
Yeah.
So I had to think about that in the big picture. And I remember it being around my kitchen island, and I had a couple of my dear friends over, and I was having a block with what to name the business. And I was going too much with just actual things. And a good friend of mine said, "Well, how do you want to make people feel?" And my first word was, "I want to make them feel like they're glowing." And I'm like, glow. Okay, but I didn't want the W. And then derma, skin. I'm like, Glo Derma, that's perfect. And you can add glow to anything. Hence, when Glow Academy was born, and we have all these different side glow brands. And I think that's really important. And the star in the logo actually represents my 5 kids. So 5 points, 5 kids, because I wanted something personal that was subtle. So yeah, the inner glow is definitely something that I want to bring out with everyone that steps through this, through the doors, who experience us. We call it the Glow-tex, it's like a vortex of glow. Even with the squad members, my little office that I'm sitting in right now, it ends up being the hangout after work with the squad members. And it's that's when we can really be our true authentic selves. And I just want to inspire others to also do the same.
Hey folks, this is Alex Thiersch, and thanks to our sponsors, RepeatMD. Big news, RepeatMD is giving away $150,000 in cash and luxury prizes this October. Rolex, Chanel, Louis Vuitton, and it all ties to the biggest virtual training event of the year for med spas and wellness practices. And it's free to all our listeners. It's called Sell More This Holiday Season. and it's happening Tuesday, October 21st at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. This live virtual event is going to show you exactly how to avoid the 5 profit killers that drain holiday revenue, turn gift cards and skincare into your number one revenue driver, just like Dr. Rajani, who sells over $10 million a year, steal the top holiday promos that 7-figure practices run, and even double your membership sales in 30 days. And here's the kicker. This isn't just another webinar. It's also the official launch of RepeatMD V3. 2 years and $20 million in the making. V3 is the first system designed to automate your revenue so you can sell more without doing more. So if you're someone who's serious about making this your best holiday season ever at your practice, you need to be there live. Register now at repeatmd.com/sell more. That is repeatmd.com/sell more. And I'll put a link in the show notes. And again, it's Sell More this holiday season, hosted by RepeatMD, Tuesday, October 21st. Free to attend, $150,000 in prizes. Don't miss it. Yeah, that's really cool. One of the things that I mean, I have so many questions, but one of the things that I found really interesting about what you said, and I think is cool about what we're going to see in a week and a half when we're at Terranea, when we bring together, 125, 150, these incredible business owners, happen to be women, but they're all these amazing business owners and entrepreneurs. You mentioned that, your the impact of the RN and what she had on you as she was treating you, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know that people often realize what kind of an impact you can have on somebody as their provider. But really what you said, it sounds like, and it didn't sound, maybe, I don't know how many times you went to this lady for treatment, but
one time.
It sounds like she had a profound impact on your life, to the fact that you're still talking about her. And that really shows you the power of what we do and what you can do. And it's also how much, I think the respect you need to give the profession and what we do, because that's a really cool thing that you just said.
Yeah, well, thank you. And that's what I always want to bring myself back to and never get lost in it. Mm-hmm. And I said, even as big as you get and everything, that patient experience that I have and the impact that I can actually have on somebody else, that could also pivot their life and inspire them to do something else. Or, that's so important to me. So I'll never lose that. So it's something that I give every single person that comes in. I love it because aside from this, as what I'm doing, day in and day out, it's so different than in other clinical settings like the ER, when people are, there because they have to be there. They're choosing me. And to me, that is something that I have to take extremely seriously and make sure that I show up for them 110% every single day, that I'm present with them. That's why I extend my consults. It's not just about what do you want to get done as far as like the treatment. It's also getting to know the person holistically and getting to know, it's like an interview process almost, in both ways, to make sure that we're both matches. And that's why every day I look at my schedule and I'm so excited, because I love my patients so much. We become family, and I'm able to really give them all of me. And I don't have to even think about being present in those moments because I'm so there for them.
Yeah, don't you kind of miss the late nights at the ER and the fluids being well,
you know what? To be quite honest, I love the ER. I love the rush of it. I love the team I worked with. I worked weekends, so when I was raising my kids, I wasn't running from the ER. I think sometimes providers now coming into this space, they're feeling the burnout. They're feeling that exhaustion, that they think that what we do now is, I think it's the best space in the world, but it's a heck of a lot more work. I used to work 12, 14-hour shifts, but I would leave those shifts and then not have to think about it for another week. And it wasn't like you would bring your work home. Here, it's I think I've gained a lot of skills being an ER trauma nurse, about compartmentalizing and about able to leave things alone and not necessarily carry it at home. But like I mentioned before, this is a lifestyle brand. So much of me and my personal life is also part of the brand, which I think makes it more real and authentic. So I miss my colleagues in the ER. And yeah, once in a while, like one of my nurses, Victoria, who worked ICU, I'm like, wouldn't it be fun to just do like half a shift just to see if we still got it?
I
So,
mean,
but I mean, I think that this is such a gift to be able to be given this opportunity to give more of my time when you're in the ER and you're in other clinical settings. Like you have so many things that you have to do at once, and a lot of it's under other people's terms, or it's life or death. People come in here, they're excited to see me, they seek it out, they're excited to see my other amazing providers, and we're able to give them that like experience. So in so many ways, we're healing them in a different way compared to in other clinical settings. So
yeah.
I think for anyone listening that's wanting to get into it, just know that it's a heck of a lot more work, but it's a whole lot of more like return as far as like what you are able to give to other people if you're in it for the right reasons.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because we do get a lot of folks who think that it's going to be a lot easier in terms of the amount of work you're doing, but it's a difficult job to do, and there is a lot of grind, there's a lot of competition, and it's stressful, but it is very fulfilling. And I think congratulations on everything
Thank
you've
you.
built. That's been really cool. It's been amazing to kind of get into what you've been doing. What I do want to ask about, you created this. First of all, you are into you are into more of the regenerative medicine, and you created a technique or a protocol, I think you call it, called the art of reversal,
Yeah.
which is interesting because it's we're seeing a lot of this nowadays, where a lot of folks are kind of pushing back against the overfilled, overdone look. They want much more natural. They want they want it to look very fresh, and there's a ton of things going on with that. And to see that you had this protocol come up, which involves some of the things that we're going to be talking about, including the what's it called, the
Baby glow.
baby glow, which I can't wait to talk about also.
Yeah.
But talk about the art of reversal, what it is, and kind of how you got into that, because I think that's it's a really cool process that you've come up with, and you don't see many providers who come up with kind of their own protocol for things. So that was really cool. When I saw you did that, I was impressed.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So I think many times we learn on ourselves. And when there's a need that needs to be fulfilled, I'm all about kind of coming up with a solution.
Right.
So about 4 years, 4 years ago, I was in Monaco, AMWC. It was a great time. We all got COVID. So, we had a great time, but everyone got COVID. And I came home and I noticed that I had this extreme swelling in my lips, and I had not had any lip filler for probably maybe 3, 4 years prior to. So it was definitely filler that had been placed a long, long time ago. And up until that point, I was noticing my lower third just looked a little off, but I couldn't quite place it, like what was going on. So I flipped my lip up. And I remember I was on a WhatsApp group chat with my friends from South Africa and the UK, and we're all going back and forth with all of our symptoms, and everyone had very different symptoms. I'm like, look at this stuff. I'm like, this is definitely all filler. So once I recovered, I reversed it, and I realized that my lower third, my animation came back more easily. It was, everything was more in balance, I would say. So it got me thinking, if I do this all day, every day, how many people may be experiencing the same thing that they don't know? They just think that this is the way they're supposed to naturally age because of maybe filler or other things that have been placed years before and much longer than you would ever think. So I'm 1000% convinced that the lip filler that I was seeing being inflamed was placed probably my first lip treatment, which was before I was injecting. So we're going back probably 12 years. And at that time, probably about 8. So once I reversed, I gave myself a break. And then I decided I was going to rejuvenate it with ezGEL PRF because I love, 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 love ezGEL PRF. And I didn't really want volume. I just wanted more hydration and to improve the tissue integrity because I saw it for so long be so effective in other areas of the face and body. So I tried that and I just loved it. So then I started thinking, okay, again, if I do this and I'm well trained and I know the science behind this and I love regenerative so much that let me come up with a protocol. So I started playing around with it. So, and there really isn't a protocol for reversal. Up until that point, people were just kind of going in using Hylenex, the enzyme that breaks down filler. And, but it is also more about the psychology too, about how do we also train providers to feel confident and comfortable having these conversations with patients, especially when it's their first time in your office, when they've had treatments in the past, and maybe they just think that this is the way they're supposed to look. How do you actually approach that without offending it? So I came up with like the whole concept of the art of refusal. So like, how do you control that room and that consult, that when a patient's looking for this, how do you also have that art to redirect them on maybe something that would give them a better overall outcome? And that's always has been my goal. Like, you want patients to have the best outcome ever. And what they don't know is exactly that, what they don't know. So education is key. So I came up with this process. It's been amazing. People are now seeking it out. I can't tell you how many times patients come in, and when I'm being honest with them, they're thanking me because they said other providers didn't educate them on this. They didn't know, again, what they don't know. And all of us as providers, we're learning so much because it's such an innovative space that our techniques have improved, our product selection have improved, our, selection of patients and vice versa. And I think people are desiring that natural rejuvenation. And this is not to say if anything is wrong with fillers. It's not whatsoever. Most of the time when I'm seeing with art reversal is more or less, it's maybe not too much product, but maybe it was placed in the wrong space, too close to the muscle, which was causing these abnormalities. And I think that going back to like just, I didn't know anything coming into aesthetics, and the amount that I've learned through the years is immense. So I think patient education is key. And this has been like such a great gap to fulfill for people, and patients are no longer fearing reversing. They're actually excited to have it done, and they're not necessarily going through the process of being dehydrated, being upset with you for a couple weeks, and then having that post-migratory concern that can happen after the enzyme is in place.
Right.
So we're actually healing the underlying cause.
So what's the difference between what you're doing and just doing I can never say this word. Hylenex. Hylenex. Yeah.
It's a Hylenex.
Hylenex. What's the primary difference in how it works?
So ezGEL PRF is using your own plasma. The process is like this. We draw their blood, put in a centrifuge, and then we isolate all the proteins and also the growth factors and the good part and the platelets. And then the next step, what we do is we go ahead and we warm it up. So it actually stimulates the albumin and protein in the blood. So it turns into like a gel. It almost looks like a fat transfer, but we're not adding anything else. So it's your own body's regenerative sources that are being used to go ahead and be replaced, isolated into your tissue. So it improves the texture, the tone, the hydration, and the overall healing of it. So of the skin and body. So I think people are also a little bit afraid of using fillers. This has been a nice gap also because you get that nice regenerative approach without necessarily adding filler. So when we're reversing using Hylenex, what happens is the enzyme breaks down the hyaluronic acid, but it also opens up these little microchannels that can cause, if you're going to rejuvenate it with the hyaluronic acid too soon, it can cause the hyaluronic acid to actually spread. So in the same session, I'll use it, whether it's ultrasound guided, because we do have ultrasound here, or if I'm just using it just by visualization, which is many times what I do in the lip area. I go ahead and immediately after I use the Hylenex, I go ahead and I inject the ezGEL PRF, platelet-rich fibrin. So it's great because it's like the immediate kind of breakdown. You can't do that with an HA because the Hylenex is still going to be working to break down the HA. So I love it because it's that immediate rejuvenation. So then patients aren't going from like overfilled to deflated. They're actually maintaining some of that volume and it's healing. So then I give it a longer duration, about 6 weeks. I have them come back and then we reevaluate. And maybe at that time, if we want to use the HA, we go ahead and we do that and be very intentional with our placement. Or we repeat the ezGEL PRF, or we're happy with it for a while.
Hey everybody, it's Alex Thiersch, and thank you to our friends at CosmoFrance for sponsoring this podcast. You know what's really driving conversations in aesthetics right now? Patients don't want to look done anymore. They're asking for subtle, natural results, just a fresher, healthier version of themselves. It's no longer about simply filling lines. The focus has shifted to skin quality, long-term regeneration, and building collagen. That's why regenerative medicine is stepping into the spotlight. And that's where ezGEL comes in. ezGEL, it's a fully autologous gel made entirely from the patient's own blood concentrate. No synthetics, no additives, nothing foreign. The beauty of it is that it's not just a quick fix. Thanks to the fibrin matrix, growth factors are released gradually over time, stimulating collagen and elastin long after the first treatment. That's why providers call it a game changer for under eyes and temples, those delicate areas where traditional products can migrate or cause unwanted results. ezGEL truly reflects what aesthetics is: regenerative, natural, and long-lasting. Want to learn more? Call CosmoFrance today at 305-538-0110 or visit CosmoFrance.net today. That's 305-538-0110 or CosmoFrance.net. So I get you. So it's so the ezGEL, which is CosmoFrance,
Yes.
is the distributor of that. It's a in some ways, it's a bridge between, as part of the reversing process, but it can also be used on its own and just supported on its own. I mean, how are there ways to do it long term?
Yeah, for sure. I find that 2 sessions are my favorite, about 6 weeks apart, and then you maintain about like 18 months or so. They're going once every 12 to 18 months, I would say, is on average. And it's just like everything else. Long term is always going to be about maintenance and booster treatments. I think when somebody says that something's permanent, I always say red flag. You don't necessarily want something to be permanent, especially when we think about the natural aging process and seeing that so many of these fillers are lasting longer. They think longer means better, but you have to also keep in mind that the other things that are happening to your body are still aging. So that filler that's so hydrophilic and drawing, different, your water and your natural water and everything, but you're still losing bone. You still are losing your fat pads. There's so many other things happening that you don't necessarily want that to be forever. And I've been really, really fortunate. Dr. Kian Karimi and Dr. Neil Rajani, two of the pioneers of this, they were the ones that I called when I had this idea. And I was like, hey guys, like, has anyone ever tried this or tested this? Because I think I came up with something that I think would be really useful using the ezGEL PRF.
Yeah.
And they're huge supporters of mine. And actually, I just got published. It's coming out next month for the
That's
first time. It's
awesome.
a big goal with the art of reversal with some of my case studies alongside with Dr. Kian Karimi. So
that's so cool.
I'm super pumped because sometimes these things are hard to actually study because it's up to the person also to have, different plasma is different and it's variable, but to actually show and prove that this is something that is effective and then having our patients' results also speak for themselves, it's really exciting. I'm just happy that I'm able to help people with things that they might have never not known or considered, and also teach other providers this.
That's so cool. What's the reaction been with your peers? Has everyone been excited? And is peer people trying to get? I mean, do they want you to teach them? And what's the overall reaction been?
Totally, it's been really awesome. And again, this is something that was just like, okay, it just makes sense to me. And that's how my brain thinks. It's like, okay, this is how this works. Okay, scientifically, this is something that I know is going to solve some of those concerns. So why don't we put it together and see what happens and try it out? And it worked.
That's so cool. Honestly, I think there's probably a lot more of that going on. And one of the things that we want to do, that we need to do as an industry, and we need to do at AmSpa is be more intentional and a little more organized about how we do these studies and things, because it makes our industry have more credibility. It makes our industry a little bit more responsive, and it gives us more status to the outside world, which God knows we need right now. So I'm sure there's others out there who are like tinkering, and to put it into a protocol, into a study, and have it published, that's the key. Like, you've got to take that next step.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've been really fortunate with it. And again, it's sometimes these things are right in front of our faces, and you just literally, not even figuratively and literally, And it's just kind of putting the pieces together and then executing on it. And that's something that once I believe in something and I think that there's something that can help others and that I'm really passionate about, like I like to complete things. I think sometimes as entrepreneurs, you have all these ideas because we're creative and we have all these ideas, but actually following through and doing it, that's a whole nother story.
It really is. So tell me about the BabyGlo Threads.
Yeah.
I've heard about this, and I know you're it's one of the things that you also use. How does that fit into the whole equation with what you're doing, or does it? Is that just, or is it a separate piece?
So it's a separate entity. So there, we're talking about the PDO threads,
Yeah,
and I've been playing around with PDO threads, more the barbed wired ones, for
yeah.
many years. I've always liked the smooth and the twist, which is what we're calling baby collagen threads,
Yeah.
and but I kind of put it away because the threads were a little bit, I think when they were first launched, it was too unpredictable. Patients had this
Hmm.
like idea that it was more like a facelift, and it's absolutely not. And I think that also some of the trainings that some of the companies, like they weren't put in the right hands of the providers that could execute effectively. It was kind of like going for the abundance, not like for the ones
Hmm.
that. So I kind of just moved away from it. So CosmoFrance, who I'm a trainer for them. I'm a
Hmm.
KOL for them, and they're such an amazing company. And they approached me and said, "Hey, after the whole Art of Reversal launch, they're like, we have an idea. How about we have the twists and the smooths?" And I'm like, I've always liked them. I just actually they kind of just got pushed to the side. They're like,
Hmm.
what about if we come up with a protocol that also involves ezGEL, because you know that, you believe in that, you believe in the collagen threads in a way that's less scary, that's more approachable, and something that can give excellent results. I'm like, game on, I'm on it. So they gave me
Hmm.
the task to kind of like bring threads back. We're bringing threads back to sexy land, right? But in a way that's more approachable, that's easier, that patients won't be afraid of, because that's another thing. Patients are like, oh my God, I had a thread. It's just like anything. Even if they had a bad injectable experience, they associate
Yeah.
everything with that.
Yeah.
So I came up and developed a protocol that is not fussy, that's easy, that's applicable, and that's going to be easy to teach. And the results are great. And it's also, you can incorporate other products like Sculptra, which is one of my favorite products of
Hmm.
biostimulator. I use that probably about 95% of all my patients, no matter what age they are, that's added to their aesthetic plan, might be even higher. But I've always loved Sculptra. So there's ways that you can do this, and we are going to simplify the process. So our kits are going to be launched very soon. They're in production, because
That's
I tried
awesome.
to think again, like, coming back down to earth, what are things that are kind of fussy and annoying about threads? So
Hmm.
it's like the packaging and the grab this and the grab that. So why don't we just come up with an actual pattern and protocol that
Hmm.
is easy? So you open up, you know what to do, and that's what you do. But then you can customize it as well. So I'm
Hmm.
really excited. It's really big in Korea right now. So the K beauty thing is hot.
Hmm.
These baby threads, people want more of that baby face, that youthful, not so much of that like harsh, and trends come and go. But I think the majority of the people, at least my patients, they want to look like themselves, just a little bit more youthful, a little bit more refreshed, a
Yeah.
little bit more glowing. And that's why the BabyGlo was born. So it's been awesome. And I was able to talk about it at a conference a couple weeks ago in Dallas, and we'll be touching on it, I think, at the women's
Yeah.
conference. And the BabyGlo is awesome. Again, I'm very passionate about it. I tried it on probably every single one of my squad members, and it was great seeing patients' reactions coming back for their appointments. Like, whoa, what is different? Like, you just look like you're glowing again, right? You just look,
That's
something's
awesome.
different. You look great, but you just look. They can't quite pinpoint what they've had done, which is exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. Now,
So
and when you say baby threads,
Mhm.
what's the difference between the baby threads and the regular, or is there, explain that to folks who maybe don't know, like me.
Yeah, yeah. So the baby threads, they're very fine. They're
Okay.
little. And there's two types. So they're baby because they're little. That's kind of like
Okay.
why
That's
they,
the, yeah.
so that's why the word, they're just like little teeny threads. And you're able to go in and put it like, underneath the skin, and it creates this nice like cross hatching, almost like an enmeshment and matrix. So
Mhm.
as these little threads are being reabsorbed into your body, that collagen production stays. So the pattern is key to make sure that you're putting it in the right placement in order to give that extra support. And then there's also baby twist threads, and those are going to be ones that are actually literally like a twist. So if you think about it, like if you place something in that's coiled and then you take it out, that coil enmeshment is going to stay like that, which is going to give it a little bit more of an anchor, but it's very delicate. Like if you think about a baby, it's like soft and sweet
Mhm.
and like just cute and cherub and everything. So that's kind of it's very, very less invasive. It's very delicate, but it gets the job done and it gets your skin back and
That's
like
cool.
giving it that nice support.
And then
Yeah.
how does the ezGEL combine with that? Because they're both combined into one treatment, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's great. So what I like to do is I use the ezGEL first, and I use it in specific areas in the face, and it kind of opens up that plane and hydrates the whole area. And then I go in with the baby threads, and I just do it in a pattern that's very intentional in order to give it that added support. So it boosts each other actually. So it works really nicely hand in hand. It's a great adjunct together.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, so
Thank you.
what is it about? I mean, I feel like the answer is obvious, but we're seeing so much with regenerative medicine. It seems to be kind of the way things are going, the natural look, obviously, which makes total sense. Um, you obviously love it. You said you love sculpture. You love the regenerative side. What is it about that side of aesthetics that you like? And what do you think? I'm just kind of curious. I ask this to a lot of people. What do you think the future is? What's the next step in all of this? Because like there's things are moving quickly, um, but it's also you also never know what the next thing is, right? There's so many different things that can come up, and the technology moves so fast. Um, what gets you excited about this area?
Oh gosh, so much of it. Well, I think that most people love the idea that when it's regenerative, we're talking about your body kind of doing the work as well. So we're just
Mhm.
turning back the hands of time using things that are a little bit more natural. Now, hyaluronic acid is also regenerative. I would
Yeah.
also say that because you're adding back in hydration, which is something that we also lose. So I think skin boosting is going to be really big. It kind of already is, but I think that there's some products on the horizon that we're familiar with are going to be launching in the US about hydrating the skin and using that. And I think a lot of it, what makes me excited is that I love combination therapies. So I don't think there's a one fix to anything. I think that when you combine different modalities and you're actually treating the underlying causes of aging, overall you get better results, better outcomes, and happier patients overall. So I don't know what the future is going to bring, but I definitely think regenerative is the way. But again, incorporating things with the HA, skin boosting, and using different combination therapies is going to be really effective. So, and that's another thing. Like I'm a Gemini and I'm an entrepreneur. So I don't like the same day in and day out, which is why I like the ER so much because you never knew what you're going
Mhm.
to get. And
Yeah.
because we're in such an innovative, growing space, it's so exciting because things change so quickly. That's why it's really important as providers to stay on the pulse, like think outside the box, like take chances and understand the science first, so then the artistry can come to life and think that, just consider that you can combine different modalities. Same thing I did with Art of Reversal and Baby Glow.
Yeah. Well, what about for you personally and for Glo Derma? What's next for you
Oh
guys? Just
wow. So
world
we'll
domination?
see. Well, we have Glow Academy now, which is super
Yeah.
exciting. We launched that about 2.5 years ago. It's a great space. We host a lot of events here. We just had a huge Gay and Gal Derma event here all weekend. We produced a whole live webinar. We had a lead mentoring training where all the people from all over the country came in and we were the mentors to other trainers and teaching them how to coach them, I should say, to be trainers, which was amazing. I was like,
Mhm.
pinch me. We're in Little Bucks County right now, and everyone's here and they're at my space, and we're doing all these like amazing things. It's just kind of surreal. But our studio is growing as well. I don't know what the next move is going to be. I'm doing a lot of traveling and developing of other things. I love to travel. I love to be out there connecting with my colleagues, and collaboration, I think, is key. I don't know what the next move is going to be. You never know. It changes very
Yeah.
quickly. Yeah.
It does. It really does. You never know. Well, I mean, it's awesome. Again, congratulations on everything. It's
Thanks so
cool
much, Alex.
to see what you're doing. And I have no doubt there will be something new coming. I can't wait. So, and when do the kits come out?
Well, so the kits very soon. They're actually in
There's,
production. So I would say probably
okay,
by mid-October. Can you
mid-October.
say? So yeah, keep a lookout for these BabyGlo kits. They're very easy.
BabyGlo kits.
I'll be doing lots of trainings on it. I actually end up doing an impromptu. This is so me, impromptu live demonstration of this after a workshop because people wanted to see what this is all about in the middle of like a huge exhibit hall, like literally like
Yep.
impromptu. I'm like, is there a treatment chair? Perfect, put me there. And we had so many people come around, so much interest. CosmoFrance, that team is just so phenomenal. It's such a great company to work with. They're consistent, they're safe, and they're committed to really education and making sure that whoever is representing their brand is exactly on brand, and they're selective with that. And I just love their products, and they speak for themselves, and I'm so happy to be partnered with them.
That's awesome. Anyone who wants to find out more about the art of reversal, where can they go for that? Where can they find out more about you and your clinic and what you have to offer?
Sure. Instagram. My Instagram handle is Amy Burks, BIRKSRN, or Glo Derma, GLODERMA, or My Glo Academy. I have a lot of handles. My Glo Academy, GLO, no W, ACADEMY. Or they can also email Cheryl at gloderma.com. She's the lead of education and helps me with all the collaborations. So I do all different types of things. I do small groups, I do shadowing, I do mentoring. We do live webinars. Even if you can't get to me, we can actually stream that live. It's really cool with our studio. It's very, very fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we have a lot of options. So I would say to email Cheryl at gloderma.com if you are interested in these sort of trainings.
That's awesome. And if those of you have who are in the area, you can come out and see Amy 2 weeks, a week from
like a week and a half. Yep,
yeah, week and a half. The first weekend of October at Terranea Resort in LA. It's going to be amazing. It's so beautiful there. The weather's going to be perfect. It's going to be so awesome. Thank you so much. This was incredible to get to know you a little bit. I can't wait to meet you and see everything. It's going to be such a cool weekend. But congrats again on everything that's going on. It's fun to watch.
Thank you again so much for everything. I'm so excited about next weekend. The resort looks gorgeous. The activities look unbelievable. I've never been a part of a conference and faculty that have dog yoga, kayaking.
I know. The puppy yoga has really.
I don't know what to pick. I'm like, this is wow, we get to actually chill.
I know.
This is really cool. So I think what you've created is really awesome. I think it's going to be super impactful. I've heard amazing things from last year. And again, I'm really, 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 really grateful that you considered me to be part of this. And
thank you. Of course. No, thank you for being a part of it. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us too. I know you're busy.
Thank you so much.
Hey everybody, it's Alex Thiersch, and I'd like to thank our partners at Well Received for sponsoring this podcast. Did you know that nearly 40% of clients prefer to book appointments after hours? That's a huge part of your potential client base who need support after you've closed your doors for the day. In such a competitive industry, every missed call or unanswered chat can mean losing a client to your competitor down the street. But it doesn't have to be this way. Well Received is a 24-hour answering service specifically designed for aesthetic and wellness practices. Their team of real people handles calls, answers web chats, and books those valuable appointments, ensuring every client inquiry receives a prompt and personalized response day or night. And every plan comes loaded with value-added tools to keep your front desk running smoothly. With call recording, spam call blocking, and business phone numbers, your team can focus on delivering a great experience. The result? More new clients, increased loyalty and repeat visits, better reviews, and less pressure on your front desk staff. So, whether you're just getting started or scaling to multiple locations, Well Received helps your med spa grow. As a special offer for listeners of Medical Spa Insider, you can now enjoy 50% off your first 3 months of service with Well Received. This is a great opportunity to experience the benefits of the service without any hidden fees or long-term contracts. You can upgrade or downgrade your plan anytime, giving you the flexibility and control you need to grow your business effectively. Visit www.wellreceived.com/AmSpa to learn more and redeem this exclusive offer today.
Thank you to our producers, Madeline Mahler, Marketing Content Coordinator, who organizes the podcast schedule and guests, provides topics and talking points. And myself, Joe DeGuzman, Technology Operations Manager. I handle the audio and video editing, voiceovers, and tech. Kate Harper, Senior Digital Marketing Coordinator, who makes all of our graphics and manages the podcast platform. Esme Uriastegui, Senior Social Media Coordinator, who makes and posts all the clips for the podcast and posts them to our social feeds. Our music is by Ghost Score. Thank you for listening to or watching the Medical Spa Insider podcast. Please follow or subscribe to wherever you listen to your podcasts and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future episodes. For more information about the American Med Spa Association, please check our show notes or in the description below.